Okay, we're here at DeLand Showcase 2019. I'm Dan Johnson, and we're going to give you one of our little tours of the ground so you have an idea what all was here this year. First off, you're going to see some powered paragliders from Planet PPG, planetppg.com. They are very regular at these events and help people that are interested in flying those kind of aircraft, and there are many of them. There's the T-51 Mustang from Titan Aircraft. They've had quite a nice run with these airplanes. Quite a few of them being built and flown. The Paradise, we haven't seen one of those for a little while. I suspect this is an owner aircraft, and there would be a Super Patrol here. You see their trailer. They must be out flying that right now. In fact, I think we're going to see it somewhere else. But here's one that is getting ready to go out and fly, and that's the C-Max there, the very nice little C-Max airplane, located right here in Florida now. Of course, they're still manufactured in Brazil. And they're having a nice little run with this airplane, getting ready to go out and do some flying there. But it's an interesting product that lots of people have shown an interest in. And now they have a base right at the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And we're going by the Vector space now. They're out flying as well. We like to see when these booths are empty and people are out flying. There next up you see is the Legend, and how it's known in Europe, but it's the L600 here in the USA. Sold by the man there in the green. He's Dion Lombard, and he is now based in Stuart, Florida himself. He's relocated here from California, although he's keeping a California operation, but he's doing some good work there. Next up is the Aerolite 103. They can't make enough of these things, and I got to stop for just a second and show you this one with the great big tires on the back of it. And there's Dennis Carley, the proprietor, leaning on the back of his airplane there. Those aircraft are selling so well, he almost can't keep up with the project. Chip Irwin is here representing his Merlin PSA, and there's a lot of new things to come out of that airplane in the future. Some very intriguing ideas. He's kind of making a change from the previous methods to some new ideas now. We're going to be seeing more about that later. Meanwhile, Zenith has their great presence here. You can see several of their airplanes in the camera view now. And that's because they're located over here because they are doing a seminar where they help you learn how to build airplanes. If you want to learn how to build one of these airplanes, you can come here and pull some rivets, get an idea about how the project works, and that'll tell you a lot about whether or not that project is for you. If not, there are people that can help you with it, so that's not a problem either way. Zenith is one of the leading manufacturers. Right now, we are going by all the forum tents. Yesterday, when I stuck my nose in some of these, and you can see maybe inside there now, they're being pretty well attended. Lots of people like to come to these shows because they can learn about things in longer talks presented in these forum sessions so that people can become educated about a project that's of interest to them. The Media Center this year helping out folks, and there were a number of media here producing material, including some fellows from Sun and Fun radio team. They are doing live broadcasts using Facebook. TQ is a producer of high-end avionics, and they are into the light sport and kit space now, as well as the certified space. Coming up next, our friends from Revo and their handsome trikes that they're out here flying regularly. First one you saw there was the Revolt, and right next to it is the Rev X. That's their newest one, just introduced at Sun and Fun last year. Here's Zelia Aviation, and they are representing a couple of kit planes, including this handsome Sabre Wing that's attracting quite a bit of attention from people here at the show. Next up, Flight Design Ctls, represented here by John Hurst, who's been a regular with that company for many, many years. All our friends at air shows here. So here's the Savannah. You just went by that, and right next to that is the Tucano Flying Legends from Flying Legends. Nice airplane. I got a chance to do some flying in that. Beautiful, loved it. Also this one here, I got to fly the Icon A5. Everybody knows about that one, and they are delivering some airplanes now, I'm happy to say. Took a little while for all that to come to fruition, but they're doing good now. The Panther, the aerobatic capable airplane, a home-built kit, but one that's well supported by the group, also here in Florida. And then we just went by the Aventura. That's going to be offered as a special light sport aircraft in the future by that man there in the blue shirt. His name is Lou Mancuso. He represents that beautiful Bristol as well. and he is representing both those products. And matter of fact, Lou Mancuso is going to be the national distributor for the Aventura SLSA, so that's exciting. I told you earlier, the folks from Aventura are out getting ready to go flying. There's their airplane out there. That's probably Steve Minich doing the flying in the left seat. He's the representatives from Dreams Come True, one of the 3 outlets for Aventura products. Also out on the line there is a Just Aircraft, and here's a closer view of one of their Super Stoles that's been such a successful model for so long. And their Highlander version, an earlier aircraft from which the Super Stole came, actually. Next up after that is a motor glider. This is called the Sundancer, and it is from DyeStar. Did a video about this. You can find that on bydanjohnson.com. And we'll have more about that later too, a longer length video. Okay, there you see a CH-701. Now that is not so much about the airplane as it is about the product that is on the front of that. That's the Aero Momentum engines from Mark Kettering and his group there, doing a nice job with those engines. There was the Aventura again. This one's the factory model. They build a very economical kit and a lot of great interest to an awful lot of producers, or a lot of builders, because it is so attractively priced. And there you're seeing some aircraft that are not light sport. These are home-built kits, obviously. That's the Velocity, a very, very fast, comfortable, big cabin airplane built right here, or kits built right here in Florida. So another good Florida product, much like the ones that we see here. Coming up next now is Viking Aircraft Engines. They're one of the principal sponsors of this event. And Alicia, they told me they were having today, they've sold some engines here at this show already. So that's pretty exciting for them. They've got the new 90 horsepower engine that they've added a turbocharger to. It now makes 100 horsepower for aircraft much like this powered parachute that you'll see coming up here in just a second. That aircraft right there. And so this smaller engine I think is going to be popular for them. They're in testing on that right now. Meanwhile, their 130 horse engine is the one that is attracting most of the attention. Swift Fuels is here, of course, with their one of their big trucks, so you can see that very easily. They're giving fuel sources to everyone here that needs it, coming around doing that. So thanks to those folks at Swift Fuels for keeping the light sport community in mind. TL Aircraft. This is the U.S. representative of TL Ultralights. The first one you saw there was the TL 3000 Sirius, and there's the Sting aircraft after that. They're having a nice little bit of run, getting that brand kind of reestablished again, and moving around the country in their great big trailer. Speaking of trailers, here's Rachel St. Louis's. This is a young gal who has built quite a little jewelry business, but it's not so much about jewelry, although it is all aviation themed jewelry. So if you want to buy something for your wife, there's something you could do. But her real story that's of interest to pilots here is that she is the builder of a bush cat using proceeds from her jewelry business. So good for her. There's the Jabiru aircraft, and you can see the J230 there in front, and they're both J230Ds. And these aircraft are being sold by U.S. Sport Planes in Texas now, representing the whole Jabiru aircraft line. Just went by the Aerotrek A240. That's the tricycle gear model. They also have an A220 tricycle gear model, or tail dragger model. There's the folks from Duke Props, based in Sebring, Florida these days, and they're talking with Paul Mather, who's from M Squared. If you want to learn how to fly an ultralight aircraft, a genuine Part 103 ultralight, you might need one of Paul's Breezes, because they're an SLSA model that flies like those ultralights. There's a Pipistrel getting ready to go out and fly there. Pretty exciting that these guys are getting back in the air here after a little bit of a slow start today, but I think things are going to rev up here. Here's another major sponsor of DeLand Showcase 2019. That's the sport cruiser producer, represented in the United States now by Cruiser Aircraft. They're not in their space right now because of the weather we started out with today, but I'll bet you they'll be in there later because lots of people love their aircraft. So that's exciting. Next up is Aviat Husky, not a light sport aircraft, but they have found that they can exhibit at this particular show and do some good for themselves. So that's exciting as well. Now we got one that did very well in a little minor stole competition here yesterday. This is the Bush Cat from Skyreach down in South Africa, represented out of Wisconsin by Aerosport. And they're folks here right at the show working on things, so that's cool. Next up is Infinity Powered Parachutes. He's been going to a lot of these shows here. That's exciting. We're glad to see him out there promoting these powered parachutes. A lot of fun to fly they are. And next up now from Cub Crafters is the Carbon Cub. There's their FX3, and I believe that's a X Cub just beyond that, but most people know the Carbon Cub in this space here. I told you earlier that two things that sell in this business is food products and fuel, and indeed we got food here. We got both kinds of things that'll power you, both your body and your airplane, so that's fun. Folks here that run this show, Jana Phillip, her husband Gary, airport manager John Ife, and an army of volunteers did a great job once again of organizing this. This is the 4th annual DeLand Showcase, and we expect that we'll see many more of these. So there's a little bit of a tour. We got a few more airplanes to go over yet, but let me also give you a quick look here and just kind of drive down the end of the big tents there that have all the inside displays. And here is the show center tent where they have lots of activities, some music available for you, and lots of other things going on here at this show. Continuing our tour now, we see Flight Design Ctls and a new motorhome right behind it. That's brought down here by Walt Conolog, who has been a representative for Flight Design for some time, and he's back down here with this airplane here to make a presence for Flight Design. They are working on their new F2 model as well, and we'll be seeing more of that. But meanwhile, we're coming by the folks here there's Miguel Rosario from CMAX and a couple of their pretty little airplanes. Amphibious seaplanes these are, and they are based at the Embry-Riddle University, Aeronautical University. That's right in DeLand, right near my home actually. And that's exciting to have them so close here. Of course, the aircraft is still built. Meanwhile, you're seeing some things in the inside tents there, Garmin and some other interesting products. And now we're going to see some Tecnam aircraft here. They're lovely P2008. But the folks at CMAX I was just mentioning, aircraft is manufactured in Brazil, but they are represented here in the U.S. by a U.S. operation. So you don't have to worry about sending your money to a far-off country when you deal with that company. And they are having some success with their pretty little CMAX that does such a nice job. Some more of the aircraft and the representatives from Tecnam Aircraft. There's Shannon Yeager and talking with some of his staff as we go by some of their booths, some of their displays. They have the P2008, their twin, and their Astore model. Now we're going by the folks from Magni Gyro, and you can see their twin two-seat side-by-side aircraft. These are gyro planes. Very nice aircraft. And finally finishing up here with the Pipistrel out of Slovenia and represented here in the USA by Rand Vollmer. So that's the show for this year. You're looking across the field, and let's see if I can capture a view here of the new terminal building. Well, it's back there somewhere. You can't really see it too well, but brand new terminal. It's where the initial kickoff reception was held this year at DeLand 2019. I'm Dan Johnson reporting to you. You can find lots more on this channel, of course, and also on bydanjohnson.com. Thanks so much for joining us here for a quick tour of DeLand Showcase 2019.